year of our band concert. Seems like just yesterday we were here doing our second band concert ever. But so it's good to be back. We're really excited to share what we've been working on over the past few months. The group that's on stage right now is our beginner group. They've all been playing their instruments for about 4 months now. In that time, they've learned a lot and few selections to share with you. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take you back in time to the first day of band. Okay, if you were to come to one of our first band rehearsals, you might hear some sounds that sounded a little bit like this. Needless to say, that's their favorite song that we do. But it asks for a lot of refinement and working on fingerings and getting their notes down and working on the embouchure muscles, which are the muscles in their faces that make them able to play these instruments. We've refined our sound to something like this. Once we've got our first note down, the next step, and so we're learning an instrument is to learn a couple others. So the next song that we're going to play for you features the first 3 notes of the major scale that we learned. In solfege, that would be do, re, and mi. So the next one we're going to play for you is called Time for Band. And once we've got a couple notes down under our belt and we start learning some different rhythms, the next step is we introduce harmony. What harmony is when you have 2 different notes playing at the same time. They usually sound together. They don't have to sound together, but anytime we have 2 notes playing together, complementing each other, that's harmony. So the next tune that we're going to play for you involves a little bit of harmony. Okay, so the next tune that the band is going to play is one of the most standard of standard songs that there is, Hot Cross Buns. And I'm going to welcome one of our coaches, Mr. Griffin Cowdrell, to come out and conduct this next tune. Yeah. Good? Oh, okay, cool. All right. So my name is Mr. Cowdrell.
songs. So some of these are going to be standard band songs that I feel like if you've been a band in the past, you've all heard played. The songs afterwards, they're going to have a little faster notes in them. And, so yeah, so I won't talk into each song. I'll try to go back to that. Okay.
Is this?
Okay, I'll just keep this on. Mic on. All right. So next, I will have Mr. Daku. Which you can let the next song. So
Hello. How's it going, everybody? I've been working mostly with the percussion students the last 4 years now, I think, and it's always a blast every year. This group has been especially creative. You'll hear a song that they came up with all on their own after Mr. Fine comes back after a few tunes, so excited to share that with you guys. All right. Thank you very much. Give Mr. Klein back up.
All right, so up next, we're gonna do some section features here. You notice we got all these different instruments in the band, so we're gonna give them all a chance to show off their instrument and show you what their instrument can do. The first group we're gonna show you is the flutes. Go ahead and stand up, flutes. All right. So the flute is a member of what's called the woodwind family. So a long time ago, these instruments would have been made of flute, but the modern ones are made out of silver or different types of metal, sometimes brass and then silver plated. And to play the flute, you blow across the hole that's at the top of it and change notes by pressing your fingers down on the keys. So we're going to listen to the sound of the flute here on this next tune. Next group we're going to show are clarinets. Go ahead and stand up, clarinets. Much like the flute, the clarinet is also a member of the woodwind family. It changes notes using a fingering system on the keys that's a lot like the flute. But to make a sound on this instrument, it uses what's called a reed. Go ahead and show everybody your reed. Okay, and what the reed is it's a thin piece. It's almost like bamboo. It's a thin piece of wood that goes on the end, and when you blow into it, it's actually what produces the sound on the instrument. So let's take a listen to the sound of the clarinet on this next one. All right, the next group we're going to introduce is the saxophone. Go ahead and stand up, saxophone. Now, believe it or not, the saxophone is also a member of the woodwind family, even though it looks like there's nothing wood about that instrument, right? It's made out of brass, much like a trumpet or a trombone. But it uses a reed the same way that a clarinet does. So that's kind of the reason why we classify it as a woodwind instrument. The saxophones, let's see the reed on your instrument. Same idea, it's a little bit bigger on this instrument, and it has a similar fingering system to the flute and the clarinet. Let's take a listen to the saxophone. So now we're going to take a look at our brass section. Go ahead and stand up. Brass. So the brass section has two different instruments in this band. We have the trumpet over there on that side. Let's see the trumpet. Yeah. And then we also have our trombones. So these instruments are unique in that to make a sound on these instruments, you have to buzz your lips into a cup-shaped mouthpiece. So trumpets, you might take your mouthpiece off and let's see what that sounds like. You guys can go ahead and buzz in your mouthpiece. It's pretty interesting that it goes from that to what an actual trumpet sounds like, just from putting it on the instrument. Awesome. Hey, trombones, let's hear what your mouthpiece sounds like. Can you buzz into that for us? So on the trumpet, to change notes, and on the trombone as well, you can actually play notes by typing and loosening your lips or your embouchure. And the trumpet has some keys on it to help us out with that. But the trombone is unique because it has a slide on it. Dylan's going to demonstrate real quick what the slide sounds like. All right, and last but not least, we have our percussion section back here. And they told me that they wrote their own piece of music to play for their feature. What's this piece called? Nugget music. All right, so we're going to let the percussion take it away with their own original composition. You can see in the percussion section, there's a lot of different instruments. We've got bass drums, we have snare drums. We also have a glockenspiel, which was playing the melody in the last one. So a percussion instrument can be any kind of instrument that you hit with your hand with a stick. All right, let's put the band back together for this next tune. All right, we only have one more song for you. We hope you've enjoyed our performance here. I know we've had a lot of fun in rehearsals putting all this music together, and we're super excited to put another concert together for you sometime this spring. Or announcements on that. But the last one we're going to play is called Crusaders March, and we're going to close it out with this one. Thank you for listening. All right, thank you for allowing us all second grade tuning. So this is our intermediate band. This group is made up of 7th and 8th graders that have been playing their instruments for about 2 or 3 years. Okay. Now, if you can remember, 2 or 3 years ago, we were in a pandemic, so most of the students have learned to play their instrument, a lot of it on their own at home and over Zoom. So we've been really fortunate this year to be able to play together and to work on some music to prepare it for you all to play. So we're going to get started with the first tune is called Arguments. All right, so it's been super fun working with this group this year. They're actually split into 2 different classes during the school day. We have our 7th graders up here that meet, and we have our 8th graders that meet separately. But they've come together with only 1 full rehearsal and 1 performance. So they're sounding awesome. I'm super excited for this. So each of these pieces that we play has a little program note on it that the conductor is supposed to read to the audience. Some of them I think are good, and I think some other ones. This next one is actually, I read it to the band, and some of we all kind of started laughing a little bit because it's a little bit cheesy. But the more I thought about it, it really spoke to kind of some of the challenges that we faced over the past 2 years. Our 7th graders learned to play their instruments entirely on Zoom last year, which I can't even imagine doing that. And they're playing so amazing. And our 8th graders had one concert, they did their winter concert, and that was the last time we got to play together until this year. So it's been such a nice thing to be able to play together again. But I'll go ahead and read the program notes to you. So the next one is called Bold Adventure. Bold Adventure captures the thrill of starting out on a new experience. As these band students have embarked on their journey of learning to master their instrument of choice, they will face many difficult challenges. It is their responsibility to face these challenges with excitement and with boldness that will enable them to succeed. I chose to read that because I really think you guys actually have done that last year. This next one, I'm sure you've heard played at home a bunch. They love this one, The Tempest. This is one of my favorite ones that we've ever played. Super cool piece that it involves some really interesting percussion work. Every instrument group in this piece is doing its own ostinato rhythm. And what ostinato means is it's something that kind of repeats. It's almost like a loop. You think of it like that. And so it creates this really cool sound when each group has their own ostinato pattern that they're playing at the same time. And yeah, we're very excited to play this for you. This is called The Tempest. with you. And can't say how thankful I am enough for these students and all of the support from our families. Big shout out to Alan Schuler for helping make this possible and helping get some of this stuff set up. Also, a big thank you to our coaches, Mishon Yakub and Griffin Valdrell, for all their hard work and helping us. And one last time for our both bands, the beginning band and the intermediate band. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.